In a world where energy powers progress, our company is leading the conversation and engagement towards that brighter future. Welcome to Pro Ally, a communication and stakeholder management company for the energy, STEM, and related sector.
With us, conscientiousness, exceptionalism, and positivity are not just words, but the very core of our existence and dedication to making a difference in the energy industry. From managing diverse industry events, simplifying complex communication, positioning brands and people, to helping organizations deliver practical sustainability initiatives,
we believe that accurate and transparent communication is the key to success in the energy sector. Conscientiousness is at the heart of everything we do. We are more than a business. We are professional experts. We are your ally.
We are meticulous in our approach, ensuring that the information we convey is not only reliable, but also easy to understand. Our services are born to solve these sectorial pain points, tapping into our depth of wisdom, knowledge and understanding, network and proven expertise. At Pro Ally, we don't settle for ordinary. Exceptionalism is our standard.
Our team is made up of experts who constantly strive for excellence, providing our clients with nothing but the best. But it's not just about what we can do, it's about the positive impact we will create. We believe that a positive outlook is crucial in driving change. Our mission: to champion progressive causes and amplify positive impact. We bridge the gap between complex scientific information and accessible communication.
We work tirelessly to ensure that our clients and stakeholders understand and appreciate the significance of their initiatives. At Pro Ally, we are not just a company, we are a movement. A movement driven by conscientiousness, guided by exceptionalism, and fueled by positivity.
Join us on our journey to simplify science communication, amplify positive impacts, and champion progressive causes in the energy industry. Whether you are an organization, stakeholder, brand, partner, or professional in energy and STEM, then welcome to Pro Ally. There is a place for you in our journey. We are Pro Ally, your professional ally, your positive ally.
Visit our website to be a positive part of the energy and STEM revolution at www.proallyworld.com or send us an email at proally.org@gmail.com or info@proallyworld.org. Pro Ally, championing progressive causes, amplifying positive impact.
Oh, wow. What a movement. Thank you, everyone, for joining us right at this time, and welcome to Pro Ally Energy Insight Series. My name is Tubosan Folayan. I am privileged and honored to be a part of this movement called Pro Ally. Today, as usual, we're going to start with a lot of thank you. Thank you for joining. But if you are here alone, you are wrong. Your job is to ensure that you tie in with our vision of democratizing energy opportunities, STEM opportunities. So please share with your friends, share with your colleagues, share with the people in your network, share with people you consider your enemies too. Let's grow together. The more we all grow, the less enemies we have. So please share and let everyone that you know who will benefit from this, who takes some course, some profession in the science, STEM, engineering, math, and energy sector, they need to be here to hear this. Thank you for being a part of Pro Ally. This is our Series 7 We started this September last year in 2023, and with your support, we have been able to do so much more than we can ever imagine. One of the things I would like to highlight today is these topics are not topics that we dreamt about. They are topics that came from your feedback saying, this is what we want to learn. Our vision at ProAlly is to democratize energy opportunities, is to democratize science opportunities, is to democratize STEM opportunities. And while we are doing that, we are also very committed to socializing the sector. And this particular topic, across about 30 respondents that we had from last year, this was very constant, a topic on personal branding, a topic on personal branding. And we went to the jungle, the good place. We went to beg. I mean, if you had to have Dr. Glory, and I will introduce her, and Eze on a one-to-one call, you will be spending good money. But their commitment to this cause, their commitment to their profession is what makes them to agree to be here at no cost to ProAlly, but importantly to demonstrate that you need this kind of skill sets if you are in this sector. So thank you for joining us again. So I'm going to get that over with and just share some very interesting updates with you about the amazing work we're doing at ProAlly. Sometimes in January, we also shared an initiative called the Gift of Mentoring. And our commitment was then to support 10 students with to connect them with their desired mentor. And indeed we did that. So these were people that were just, saying, I've never met this person, I've admired this person from afar, but I want to have a one-on-one connection. I'm going to be sharing a video later in this session of how that journey went. We were able to connect a couple of students and their life is really better for it. We also launched the Speak Your Science initiative. We wanted to sponsor 5 people to an academy, a speaking academy, but as usual, because it was free, you guys took it for granted. We had 2 people, they are having a blast. We are not going to beg people to join our initiative. In as much that it is free, it is full of value. But our job as the custodian of ProAlly is to tell you how our own journey is also going as we begin to make this numerous impacts. So today is no different. Today you are going to be listening to 2 erudite speakers who will share, who eats, live, breathe personal branding. And it's not just for aspire to perspire, like I always say. It is to actually position you for the opportunity that you deserve and the opportunity you must lean into. I've been a beneficiary of one of them, so I am here to even learn as well. Before I introduce our speakers for today, I'd like to ask you on the comment section, please put your name, where you're joining us from, and a question to our speakers. Your name, where you're joining us from, a question to our speaker related to the topic, personal branding for science, tech, and energy professionals. So let's get right in. What is the topic of today? If you know the topic of today, maybe you give me a thumbs up or you give me anything you want to give me, just show me that you know. Let it not be like I'm just strolling on the street of all of these platforms that we are streaming on. By the way, we are streaming on all 3 platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, and we are on Instagram for these events. So don't limit yourself. Like if your network are not on a particular channel, please tell them they can join us on all the channels that exist. Okay, so I'm waiting for the comments, where you're joining us from, your name, where you're joining us from, and one question for our esteemed audience. One question for them about personal branding, right? We'll take your questions for sure, but I want you to also interact with the people who are on this call with us. First on my list to bring up to the stage, because we don't waste your time. We go straight pockets, because they've come loaded, is Dr. Glory. Let me cough here. Hiya. Let me cough here before I introduce you. In case you are not aware, Dr. Glory just recently got nominated as one of Gabi top coaches in the world. That's not a small thing. So please, a one of 100, 10, 100. Can we please
Africa, not the world, Africa.
Africa? Oh, thank you for that correction. In my head, Africa, okay, is the world. That's the way I want to think about it. So please, if we can do an emoji to just appreciate the good work that she keeps doing in this space to advance our expertise. Please love, like, do all the nice things with the emoji, and then I'll go ahead and introduce her as she's right now on stage. She is an award-winning thought leadership branding expert and LinkedIn visibility coach for female executives across Africa. She's on a mission to help high-achieving women and men of African descent find their voice, build powerful thought leadership brands for emphasis. Let it be like an echo, but it's actually an emphasis. And to help them establish global visibility. She has provided training and coaching services for over 500 women. She's a member of the Forbes Coaches Global Council. She's an alumnus of the World Economic Forum Global Shapers and has been listed as one of Nigeria's 100 most inspiring women in 2019 and was named a woman who has made impact by Guardian Nigeria. But let me tell you an interesting thing, because we live in a pop culture world and there are three kinds of people now. You know, in the Greek world, they said there were three citizens. There were the fools, they were the citizens, and they were the idiots. This world that we live in, there are three categories of people. They are the shapers, they are the creators, and they are the consumers. So you choose which you would like to be. Dr. Glory is a shaper. She's a shaper. You can choose to be a creator and you can choose to be a consumer. The choice is yours, but our commitment at ProAlly is to show you these opportunities so that when you pick rightly. So it's on that note, I'm going to invite Dr. Glory on this amazing stage. She's going to talk to us for the next 20 minutes. Personal branding. Supposedly, we say science, tech, STEM, as people call it, and energy. It's very complex. People won't understand what I'm saying. How do I even share my knowledge? Who is listening? You know, it's not music, it's not Afrobeats with the S. And it's not fashion, it's not, it's not music, it's not creator, it's not skits making. You know, all of those things that are supposedly more pop culture than science that solves real problem than engineering that really changes and impacts people's life. How do these amazing talents of the world build their personal brand to share their story? Over to you, Dr. Glory.
Love it. Love it. Hello, everyone. And what time is it? Good morning. Well, depending on what part of the world you're joining in from, really excited to be here at ProAlly Energy Insight Series. Thank you so much, Wasu, for inviting me. Personal branding is one of my favorite things to talk about. So I'm excited to be here. Please, if I'm speaking at any point, I really want this to be a conversation. So feel free to put some questions. If I say something and you want me to expatiate on it, because I really do have 20 minutes, so I will be summing up a lot, but just put your questions in the chat. So as Tiwasu said, I feel like, science, STEM professionals do a lot of amazing work. But when it comes to personal branding, it's something that can be jarring, especially for people in predominantly science and technology roles. Those are roles that typically most times back of office, the people that are actually fixing the problems, you're not really seeing them. And then you have your front of office people who are more maybe like the social science people, right? So personal branding can be a bit almost like why do I even need it? And so when I'm speaking to people in science, I like to tell the story. I once had a client who, is a very, I won't mention her name, but is quite a top senior leader in one of the top energy companies in the world. And I remember when I was working with her, one of the things she did say to me was she's a core engineer. So her background is in engineering, and she had worked for over 20 years in this particular organization as an engineer, but now does different things in business. And she was saying to me that it's very difficult for people who have that sort of science and technology background to transition into business roles, that sometimes people are pigeonholed in this engineering space or tech space, and it's because of this thing called personal brand. So I'll just share her story. So she wanted to move into business, right? So she had been so when I say move into business, I don't mean entrepreneurship, I mean into business roles. So transition from core engineering into business roles in her organization. And what she found was that she had been pigeonholed, like I said earlier, in these sort of tech type roles. So what did she start doing? She had to understand how what she did as an engineer produced business results. So as an engineer, you understand, you have this particular problem, you're fixing this particular pipe, you're fixing this particular supply issue, whatever the case is, whatever the safety issue is, you're doing this automation, doing this design, you understand that, right? But how does that translate to business results? So how does that translate to business results? So that was one of the very first things she had to do, was start to understand how what she was doing produced business outcomes. That was the first thing. The next thing she had to do then, and as part of doing that, she started communicating more with business leaders and senior leaders, both in the energy space, not energy, I mean both in sort of the tech and engineering and energy space, as well as in core business roles, right? So she was showing up more for meetings, doing more volunteer roles, discussing more about what she was doing, the key problems she was solving, and understanding the impact on the business and learning how to communicate that in business terms. And then finally, she started getting more business-driven roles and higher promotions. And now I'm talking about this is 6 years ago, right? So she's now worked for almost 30 years in the sector, has a phenomenal roles, leads multiple business lines in this particular multinational energy company. So what is the lesson to learn here? The first lesson is personal branding is useful for your career progression and can help you prevent stagnation in your career. And I think that's the first thing I want you to know, because many times when we talk about personal branding, especially when you're talking to STEM professionals, it's like, what's this again, right? What's this again? I'm a tech person, I'm a science person, I just do the work. But it really can be a game changer in your career. The second thing that you need to learn here is you need to understand when we're talking about personal branding, and I'll share a definition for you shortly. A lot of people think it's about how you look, how we show up, how you go for events, things like that. It's part of it, like your presence is definitely part of it. But there's the core internal work of understanding what you want to be known for, what you want to do, what your goals are, who needs to know about it. It's actually a strategic process. So how you have your process for automation and all of that, there is a process for personal branding, which is what I'm going to share with you today. And then the third bit, right, is you need relationships. You need relationships. And that's also part of personal branding. So I'll be breaking down these steps to you right now. So please, I hope everyone's still following me. Please leave me a comment in the chats. Let me know if you're with me. Let me know if that example that I gave my client also resonated. Okay, so what is personal branding? For me, personal branding is a strategic process of first of all, understanding what you do and communicating this to the right people so it can open opportunities up for you, right? So it's a strategic process of understanding what you do and communicating this to the right people so it can open opportunities for you. So that's how I define visibility or a process of personal branding. So having said that, what is the very first step in building a personal brand? What is the very first step? If you can tell me in the comments what you think. But for me, it's getting clear on your why. Why am I doing this? It's really important to understand the purpose of a thing. Otherwise, abuse is inevitable, right? So you need to understand, why am I doing this? Personal branding is not just, it's not for show, it's not Big Brother, it's not an exercise in fame. Why am I doing this? So it could be for career growth, it could be for career transition, it could be because you want to move roles, it could be because of legacy issues in your career. So maybe you spend 20, 30 years and you're thinking, okay, I'm approaching retirement, what is next for me, right? So get super clear on your why. Why am I building a personal brand, right? Maybe it's because you want to be an authority figure in your sector, or maybe it's because you want to leave a legacy. Whatever the case is, I want to earn more money. I want to build an international brand as an energy professional, right? So I can earn in foreign currency. Whatever the case is, I want to have consultancy opportunities. Understand your why, because depending on your why, the strategy is different, right? It may differ slightly. So the first thing is to understand your why. The next thing that you need to know is, what do I want to be known for? Now, I'm going to spend a bit more time here because I think it's really important to answer this question for ourselves. What do I want to be known for? Now, to answer this question, you really have to, two things. The first part of this is mastery, right? So, and I know that we have a wide spectrum of people here, people that are just starting out in mid careers and senior. So if you're just starting out in your career, answering that question might be very difficult, right? And before I even go further, the answer to that question is not integrity, honesty. All of those are characteristics, right? And obviously it's good to have integrity and to be honest and all of that. I mean, what do you want? What is the specific problem, right, that you want your name to be attached to as a solver? So, for example, when they were looking for who to speak about personal brands, they thought of me because I am known for that, right? So, my question to everyone here is, what do you want to be known for? When you're starting out in your career, it might be difficult, especially if you're first 2-3 years, right? You don't have that much breadth or depth to actually understand what you want to be known for yet. So what you can do if you're just starting out your career is to really focus on mastery, understanding your craft. Find people who are excelling in your space. What are they doing differently? What do I need to learn, right? It's really about having an open mind to learn. If you're in your mid-career, by this time, you probably, maybe mid-career, so maybe 8 to 10 years, you probably have moved around a bit. You probably have an understanding of the great things that you're good at, right? And so this is where you bring in your unique self, right? The things that you're good at, the things that come easily to you. You start asking yourself, what questions do people come to ask me, right? What are the things that I find really easy to do? And that can help you ground that answer. What do I want to be known for? If you had 20 plus years in your career, chances are you may have done the full gamut of things. You may have gone from operations, from HR to operations to business strategy, right? For you, it's about telling your story. So telling your story about as this energy expert who has worked across multiple multifunctional roles, and what is your next level? So being able to tell that story to demonstrate that you have the competence for the next level of your career, right? But it's really asking yourself, what do I want to be known for? Is it is it engineering, automation and design, business transformation, IT risk? What is it? What are the things that I've been doing in my career that I've been excellent at? That will then help you to understand what you want to be known for, right? And when you're now asking yourself what you want to be known for, what you're actually doing is niching down, right? Because when you are building a personal brand, you have to be known for something, right? If you're known for too many things, people don't remember you for that one thing, right? So it's very important. And I know many times when people are trying to achieve this, they'll say, oh, but I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. Niche down, right? And decide, okay, what do I want to be known for, right? Now, the next part, when you now know what you want to be known for, and sometimes what can help you, again, is to do what I call a brand audit, to look at other people in your space in the technical STEM area and see what they're doing differently. Now, the next part is the communication part. So remember, we've looked at our why, we're building mastery, we've now asked ourselves what we want to be known for, and that's really the clarity phase, right? What I want to be known for, niching down, right? Now the next part is that is communication. Now communication is a big And I'm so glad about Pro Ally, right? Because this is something I'm sure that they offer, right, for energy professionals, right? Communication is such a big thing because a lot of times people in the energy space, you people are very exact, right? 1 + 1 = 2, right? So when you talk about communicating your work, right, it can be a bit difficult. So I have some examples, right, of some, and I wrote them down in my notes of some of my clients that I've worked with that were essentially oil and gas professionals. And what we did here was to ask them, right, so this work that you do, design, automation, whatever it is, what is the result for the organization? And that's how you begin to communicate what you do, because you communicate what you do based on the problem you're solving. So we had I had one engineer engineer with expansion and debottlenecking. I don't even know what that means, but really explaining, as opposed to just introducing herself or communicating what she does with her job title, which many times is such a small part of what you do and does not define the full spectrum of your expertise. Really asking yourself, what is the result of what I do for the organization? Another person that we had was enabling organizations fulfill their supply obligations to nations. So based on everything that she does in her field, this is the exact results, right? So you really have to sit down and think, what is the result? I remember another client that I had who is in cybersecurity. What she was working on really was technological risk, right? So she's in tech and looking at the future of technology. But what is the result of what she did, right? So we had to really sit down and see what she was essentially doing was creating governance structures, secure governance structures for technology transformation projects, right? So there's a lot of digital transformation going on in her organization. She's in technological risk, but she has to put in secure governance structures to prevent to mitigate risk. Okay, so what is it? And I'm really stressing this because you have to sit down and really think this work that I'm doing in a silo. And again, going back to the example I gave with my my clients earlier, is saying, how do I, this work that I'm doing as an engineer, as a tech professional, what does it translate to for the business? And that's how you begin to communicate your work. Because your personal brand, the first part I mentioned about niching down, mastery, all of that, is yourself, is the internal work. Once you know, okay, this is what I want to be known for and all of that, you now have to communicate it in a way that is meaningful to other people, right? That is meaningful to other people. And the way to do that is by saying, what problem am I solving for other people? Okay, so communication. If you have any questions on that, or if you have an example, maybe you're like, okay, Glory, this is what I do, but I don't know how to communicate it. Can you help? Feel free to put it in the chat and we can give it a go. How am I doing for time? So please let me know how I'm doing for time.
You have 5 more minutes, but you're
doing wow, okay. Thank you. So the next part, now that you know how to communicate what you do, the next part is to really now think about my network. Who needs to know about me? So remember I said at the beginning that personal branding is a strategic process of first knowing what you do and communicating it. So you need to know who should know about me. And that's a question that you need to answer for yourself. Who should know about me? Who should know about the work that I do? Who do I help, right? Who can I help? Who will pay me for what I know? That is your network. Those are the people that you should be connecting with. And I always say this everywhere I go and I talk about networking. I always say this. If you forget anything I've said today about personal branding or networking, just go where the people who have achieved the things you want to achieve go. Because what will happen is when you are there, whether it's conferences, whether it's professional associations, whether it's training and certifications, whether it's learning and development opportunities, whatever the case is, if you go where the people who have achieved the things you want to achieve go, you are always going to be stretching yourself. You're always going to be talking to leaders and peers and even people that you can help as well, right? So it's a good way of thinking about it. So build that network. Find out who needs to know about me. I remember one time, again, if you use my client's example, what I said earlier, what she used to do was, first of all, because at the beginning, when you're building that network, there can be this internal struggle of, do I know enough? What am I going to say? So you can adopt culture of learning, a position of learning, which is what my client did, was asking questions about, okay, this is the output of my work, but where does it go from here? From this department, after it leaves me, where does it go? How is it used by the business? What results does it bring? And when you're asking those questions, what happens is leaders start to notice you. You start to have conversation with leaders, right? And that's you building your network, you showing up. Okay. So build your network. The next bit is the social media part, and that is building thought leadership. So you've built, so you know what you want to be known for, you know how to communicate it. You're building that network. So when you're talking to people, you can share what you do in power using powerful language. And then finally, now it's about creating thought leadership content. And that's where social media comes in. So you see, if you haven't done all of these steps before you get on social media, you're like, what am I even doing on social media? What is this? Right? And with social media, it's really about picking. I always advise people, if you're just starting out, pick at least one platform. Obviously, my preferred platform is LinkedIn, because I think LinkedIn is a truly global professional network. And people come on LinkedIn to digest professional content. So if you're trying to build a professional brand, it's the place to be. Okay, so when you're now on LinkedIn, it's about creating content. So what kind of content should you create? Create content on topical issues. What are the topical issues that are happening in your sector? What are the problems? Create content around problems you're solving. What are the problems that you're solving in your sector? Every day on your job, you're solving problems. You've created something, and then when they've taken it to the field, there's something, it doesn't quite fit, and you have to extrapolate, or you have to do something. How are you solving those problems? There's a health and safety issue based on a new tech that has been installed. How are you solving those issues, right? Oh, I can see two also coming back. Okay, so I'll wrap up. So it's really about creating content that demonstrates your expertise. Okay. And then finally, the final base is evaluation. So you've done all this work. You need to evaluate. Is it working? Right? Remember the first thing I said was get clear on your why. After I've done all these steps, am I getting closer to the reason why I started this in the first place? Okay, so I'll stop here.
Thank you so very much. I didn't mean to stop you. It was actually to prompt that you had 1 minute to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, but thank you for your share. I've been a student of yours, so I kind of know a few things about what you're talking about, but I can't even claim that this is not enlightening. Like, this is very enlightening for even I myself. So thank
fantastic.
you. Not to recap, because people are here and listening, and they are very smart people. STEM people are very smart people. But I like when you mention what problem are you solving? What are you trying to communicate? Why are you here? Is it aspire to inspire? Is it to dance? But people actually start with the last part, which is creating thought leadership content, jumping on social media, and then it becomes a problem. And then you say you have social media block. With this one, you're not going to have social media block again.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So thank you. We are bringing Dr. Glory back. Dr. Glory, you have a lot of questions. I'm not sure if you see. That's why I didn't want you to go, because so that we can create a lot of time for the questions. So we're going to ask. Please send in your questions. We're going to take them. One thing I didn't mention to you, Dr. Glory, is that the questions we can't take here, we would like to kindly ask, because they're on LinkedIn. If you can just, respond to them, or we can collate them for you, send to you. And if you want to do a voice over them, we're happy to share.
Yes. Or I can do a post.
Oh,
so just send me the question. Yeah, I can do a post.
Yeah.
Yes. And so like a collaborative post or something on LinkedIn.
Great.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Sure. So let me step back, Dr. Glory, to relax for now. And also bring our second speaker, Eze Chukwudi. Eze is a seasoned brand, communication, and marketing expert with a decade of diverse industry experience. He excels as a consultant, a speaker, and trainer in personal and corporate branding. If you have looked at his LinkedIn, if you have glanced at it, you see top brand voice. That doesn't come easy. Like, you must have dished out so much sense on LinkedIn that even the algorithm will say this person is sensible. Yeah. He's certified in PR and management and leads Advanceo's communications and marketing team. With vast experience spanning e-commerce, finance, renewable energy, He mentors at the prestigious institutions like Rome Business School Nigeria, we have farms in here, and Africa Leadership University. So I'm bringing top experts to this forum. Eze, thank you so much for today. The floor is yours. You have 20 minutes. Give us a go, then we come back for questions.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So I'd just like to say, well done to Dr. Dozen, PhD, for that brilliant, session. So, you've literally, given like the background already. I'm not going to touch so much on that again. I'll just go straight to um, what I want to speak on today briefly. Right? Can we all still see me? Can you still see me?
Sure, we see you. I know that
Oh,
the black thing is a bit distracting, but we can manage really.
all right then.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. So I know she talked about, she's spoken about like niching down and stuff, basically, right? So I'm not going to bore you so much about, some of the things that she has spoken on again, right? So, but what I'll be focusing on, some of the personal branding learnings that we'll be discussing in this session now would be around, she already talked on one thing, which is networking. I'm going to be speaking about, speaking well, which is communication, and then also appearance, dressing well, and then building that presence as a professional, and then owning your reputation. So if you permit me, right? So there's someone who I really like a lot. It's called Seth Godin. He's a marketing genius, right? So he says personal branding to him is simply put, is just your reputation, right? It is the image or identity that you create for yourself as a professional, thought leader, or human being. And I like to always say this, right? So everybody who is on the call, each and every one of us has a reputation, but not everyone is intentional about their reputation, right? So some of us are just more intentional about how we are seen, heard, and spoken about. So the goal of this session is to help you better your reputation, which is basically your personal brand, right? By leveraging the art of, communicating well, which is speaking well, your appearance, networking effectively, and then building executive presence. So there's a model that I came out with, after speaking on personal branding for a while. So I developed the 5 personal branding questions, which I think that everybody should have. Um, if for those of us who are Christians, the Christ asked his disciple, "Who do men say that I am?" It's important that you ask this question yourself also. Who do people say that you are? So the first question is, who do people say that I am? I always like to tell people, ask 3 to 5 friends or your colleagues, what do they think about you? Are you a good person? Do they consider you to be smart? Are you knowledgeable in certain areas? These are questions you need to ask. So the second question is, who do I think that I am? Now you know what people think of you. Who do I think that I am? So who are you? The third question is, what I think of myself and what people think and say of me, is it the same? So people are saying that I'm good, you don't think that you're good, or people are saying that you're bad, but you think that you're good. There's a mismatch there. So the first question is the perception of people about me negative or positive? It's important that you know how people see you. Are they seeing you in a good light or in a negative light? So the fifth question is, what people think and say of me, is that what I want them to think of me? So you need to ask that question. What people think and say of me, is this what I want them to think of me? So if that's not the case, then you need to work on that. So I said something, so the answers to these questions would help you transform your personal brand from good to bad, or from good to better. Answer it with all honesty, right? So I'll proceed, right? So I have a few personal branding quotes that I've developed over the years, right? So one is, your intelligence is rarely questioned when you look good, except when you speak, and then erase all doubts. So I always tell people, you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression, right? So it's always important that every time you step out, either to your office, to any environment of influence that you find yourself, always always go with the intention of making a very good first impression. Appearance sells. Make sure that they buy into yours. Lastly, what you know is not as important as how you communicate what you know. I always tell people, most of us in school, so even you have some of your friends, they are brilliant students in mathematics, but they are terrible at teaching you or even teaching anyone else what they know. When they even start speaking, you say, man, it looks like you don't know it, but they know it, but they're not just good at communicating what they know. And communication is an important element of building a great personal brand. So further on again, right? So, like Tubosu said, right? What we're giving you is this value is something that you pay so much for, right? But because we love what we do and we want to see more professionals thrive, so there's a general personal branding model for everyone, regardless of your profession. But I know that STEM people can decide to, they always, you guys are always like, you always carry yourself as like the smartest of the pack, right? So you always say, oh, I probably not, I don't really have time for, social media. We have so much work to do and things like that. But I'll tell you, even with what you do, I'll plead with you, please find time to, create a presence for yourself online. When I tell people this, because as brand managers, I get to compel my colleagues, oh, you're not speaking about the company, you're not speaking about what you do. So a lot of people do not know. This is a secret I'm going to share here today, right? So when you speak about what you do and where you currently work, it is not just for the benefits of the organization. It is also to show people that you are good at what you do and also showcasing where you work, and then what you are doing at where you currently work. So I'll share an example with you. If you go to my page, everywhere that I've worked, I own my role, right? And I always speak about what I've done. The current job that I have today, one of the things that got me this job is how I speak about what I do, even from my previous place of work, how I speak about what we do, how we're impacting lives, how I'm also contributing. So there's something to say, oh, this guy is not just good CV wise, delivering his KPI, but he also shows that he's passionate about what he does. And a lot of people would respect, when they come, your online is also your CV. I've gotten jobs without people even seeing my CVs here, and then the CV is just, for professionalism's sake, because of how visible I am, online. Like the digital age now, is important that you have a digital footprint. So the next thing I want to speak about briefly again is the ABCD model of personal branding, which is A, your appearance, B, your behavior, and C, your communication, and then D is your digital impression, like digital presence online. So understanding the ABCD model, so your appearance speaks volume, right? And how you look informs people's perception about you and what you do. Your appearance should serve as a communication tool. Every time I step into, I was at an industry event, and I walked up to the head of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for Financial Inclusion and Poverty in Africa. After I had finished speaking, I walked up to him. I wanted to, before I introduced myself, the next thing he said, you dress really well and you look really good. So that has served as an icebreaker without even me saying anything to him yet, right? So appearance contributes. Most of us, some of you see people who market, like those people who, GNLD. I'm sure must have come across them, one of these. They don't dress well, they don't speak well, and then you want to market a product to me, and then you do not look like somebody also look like somebody who needs the supplement yourself, right? And you want to sell to me. So it's important that we understand appearance plays a huge role in building our personal brand. So I'll just be quick with this. So behavior, which is the B. You know, how you act around people informs their thoughts about you. If you behave badly, it affects what people think about you. So you need to take your behavior seriously. C, communication. How you communicate is a key element of your brand. Master the act of communicating effectively about what you do and how you do what you do, and you can always win people over. Digital presence. So this is like the most important thing. You know, you can be a master of so many things, you can be great at so many things, but if nobody knows you, you know, an unpopular expert is literally not an expert, right? So I'll tell you today, right? There are so many people who you are better than, who you are, you know, you have a better certification than, you have better work experience than, but you are not just as visible as they are. So today we're now in a world where the most visible people are considered to be like the best people in any field. So you see people, I see people today, I have encountered so many influencers calling themselves thought leaders within this space and stuff. And I engage, you know, I met a couple of them at, you know, at a recent meeting. And when I interacted with them, I knew that they had noise, but they did not have substance. You know, they were everywhere, but when you engage them in depth, they didn't have substance, right? And that is why you see sometimes some employers would hire people based off the noise that they've seen on social media. And then you bring them into the organization, they are unable to deliver. Why? Because the good ones are not speaking out. And then we now have the half-baked people putting themselves out there, being the noisiest, and then being the most visible. So it's important that you build a digital presence for yourself as a professional. I'll tell you this, you know, either STEM or regardless of the profession that you're in, it's important that, see, you know, digital presence puts like a record. Like there's some information I don't have on my laptop today about what I said, you know, how I've been writing for years. So, and then this platform reminds me. So somebody says to me, oh, Ezzy, how long have you been writing? And I said, oh, yes, I remember I wrote a post in 2007 and I just put it 2013 and I put it on my LinkedIn. So, and then they now ask me, oh, how long have you been writing? But I can now say, oh, I've been writing for over 13 years, you know, 10 years, you know, so because I understand the importance of having a digital presence and having the right digital presence. So having a digital presence is an important element of this age. But what your presence says about you is more important. What are you saying and doing online? Be intentional about your digital presence, either as a STEM professional or a professional, regardless of the profession that you're in. So I'm just going to touch on this briefly. You know, dressing well. Appearance is a key element of whatever profession that you're in. Fela Dotoye would say something that you cannot dress like a suspect, and expect to be treated like a prospect. How do you know armed robbers? They come with their face closed. You know, they are looking somehow. They have tattoos somewhere on their body. So how do you want people to perceive you every time you step into a building, you know, a meeting, your office? You know, so the first perception people get about you is from your appearance. The first thing we do when we meet people subconsciously as humans is to assess their appearance. If I meet you today, the first thing my eyes goes to your shoe, your watch. I'm looking at how I'm looking at, if you want to speak to me about me, I need to look at who you are before I even start asking for your background, right? So research has shown that dressing professionally can enhance your credibility, boost your self-esteem, and improve your communication skills. So I'll tell you, right, every time I dress well and step out for a meeting, I'm super confident. If I wear a suit or I'm looking good, I can walk up to the president, even if I don't know what to say, but I'm confident that I know that with the way I'm looking, it would grant me audience with anybody who I meet. So it's important that we have this in our minds, right? So next, speaking well, right? So what you know is not as important as how you communicate what you know. Knowing how to articulate what you know and communicating it effectively is a skill that not many people have. Those who communicate better occasionally get the job than those who even know little about the job, right? So, you know, speaking to the example I gave earlier on, right? So effective speaking skills are too often regarded as something that you either have or you don't. As a result, many of us settle into accepting a certain level of speaking ability and remain there. But it is certainly possible to become a better speaker. And then how do you become a better speaker? This time I spoke, I was a teenager. I think I was like 14 years old or 15. I had to preach in church. It was a Tuesday service because I attend Redeem. And I think I was supposed to speak on Daniel's heritage. I climbed, when I walked up to the altar, I knew what I wanted to say, but I stuttered. So one of the ministers came and then helped me. But over time, what did I do to become better? I knew that I was not so great at speaking. I went online, started watching. I've watched almost all Obama's videos before he became president. I started listening to Fela Drote, people who speak better than me. I also bought his CD, The A to Z of Public Speaking. And then I started taking up, in the office, I'll raise my hand. Oh, I want to lead presentations. I want to do this in church. And that's how I became better. But if you do not see, there's nobody who cannot become. You can become better at anything any day you decide that you want to become better at it if you put your mind to it. So also is speaking well. So second to like the last thing, which is networking. So there's a popular saying that your network is your network. It is no joke. I have seen it transform careers and businesses. So I'll tell you that I have been recommended to, within the last 2 years, because of the network that I built on LinkedIn, I've been recommended for roles at top energy firms, top business firms within Nigeria, right? I also just got recommended by a friend that we've not been speaking, but he has been seeing my work on LinkedIn regularly, right? So it's important that you build relationships. So I always tell people, every time you step into a room, be it your office meeting, make sure you leave a better impression of yourself than was known of you before the meeting. So in career development context, right, networking refers to the process by which professionals establish meaningful relationships with one another. So networking is a process that consists of, personal branding, preparation, taking action, and then maintaining relationships over time. So it's important that you connect with people, but why also, and that's the beauty of LinkedIn, right? You might not be able to WhatsApp everybody, or have these people connect with you on your status. But once they are connected with you on LinkedIn, even when I go for events, I was at an industry event yesterday. I went for the relaunch of 4 Points by, and then I didn't share out any business card. The only thing I said, are you on LinkedIn? Can we connect? And then when we connect, I'm going to drop you a message. And then constantly you start seeing my posts. And then the more often you see my posts, you say, I network with this guy. He was a great guy, right? And I see what you do. Can you come and do this for my organization? And this is how you build relationships. And then constantly do things to remind people, this is what you do and this is who you are. So, so this is speaking about. Okay,
I don't want to. I think you're right on the hour, and we have a lot of questions because I want to create room for you to be able to respond to the question. Thank you. You said something that struck me. Like, who do men say that I am? If there's any mistake any of our speakers don't make, is to take the Jesus and go, because we love Jesus. But this is really insightful because there are a lot of things that we say and do that we don't even recognize that the people around us can prefer the solutions that we need. It may also be a problem of, you might even know what they say that you are, but that's not who you want to be. So thanks for really elevating that part of the story. And I like the angle we're bringing into the networking bit, really understanding that personal branding is just one part of networking. But today I want us to dive on this subject of personal branding. Thank you for your attempt at sharing your knowledge parallel. I like it, because we could have had a situation where you wanted to speak exactly on what Dr. Glory said, but you kept sharing personal examples. Thanks a lot for that. So now we are going to question and answers. But before we go there, I'm going to share. We're taking a very short commercial break. Then we'll come back and then we'll bring Dr. Glory Eze back on screen, and we will deep dive, answer all your questions around personal branding. So now we're on commercial break. One of the amazing initiatives we did earlier this year at ProAlly was to give a gift of connection to members of our community. So what did we do? What we did was simple. It was to, in celebration of the International Mentoring Day that happens January 17th every year, we made a call for participation. We asked students to tell us 3 mentors they would like to meet in the energy industry. We didn't need to know them, but we were committed to ensuring that we would make partnership that gets them at least to one of their desired mentor. The video I'm going to play to you right now, it's a video of the outcome of this journey. Immensely proud of these 6 individuals, but I'll come back up to show more. So relax and enjoy this.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Emmanuel.
My name is Akalabi Israel.
I'm Adechumobi Peace.
My name is Oladidi Moluwa.
My name is Ohale Uchichukwu.
I was at a major crossroad in my career life, just completing undergraduate studies and stepping into the market world.
The connection has really been helpful, it has been insightful, it has given me a knowledge about how to navigate a successful path in the industry and even in my academics.
I highlight the knowledge and skills I have gained, as well as the personal growth I have experienced.
So it's indeed an opportunity for someone like me to have a one-on-one connection.
I got more enlightened, I got more relief, and I got more clarity.
The journey has been quite a nice one. It's been good he had listened to my personal goals and what I want to achieve, and he shared his own experiences with me.
Can we please give a round of applause just as an appreciation to our mentors, please? If you are on any of the channel watching this broadcast, please, and if you know any of these mentors, please help me thank them. On behalf of Pro Ally, help us thank them. These students didn't know them, they were admiring them from afar, and they obliged to have conversations with the students. I can tell you for a fact that most of them are on a lifelong relationship. Now imagine, just think back to when you were in school and you had a mentor in the industry that you admired so much and you had the opportunity to connect with them. We do not take this in any way for granted, particularly thanking our mentors. And for those who are not yet caught up to what we do at Pro Ally, I'd like to share again, our vision is to democratize opportunities and to socialize the science, tech, and energy sector. We do this in various ways by simplifying science communication. We do this by managing industry events and helping organizations to position their brand for strategic cross-sectoral collaborations. We do this by amplifying positive impact and by championing progressive courses. If there's any way your organization can need our service, please do not be a stranger. Always remember that we are your ally, your professional ally, and your positive ally. So I wanted to share that as to the amazing work that we are doing at ProAlly to help you. In the comment section, you would have seen a link to our Q1 feedback plus April. Please, it's not a feedback that you're dashing just because you don't have time. It's a feedback that we need so that we can help you curate these events. I mentioned it earlier that the topics that you're seeing now, we didn't manufacture them. We got them from people who helped to fill the 2023 survey. So these topics are created because you asked for it, not because we feel like it or because we think that you may need it. So what you will be doing with the feedback is that you will be helping us to plan into July, August, September, all through to the end of the year, so we can create the right topic that you need at this time. To wrap up my commercial break, I'm going to share my screen very quickly and to let you know that we are also, in anticipation of the feedback that we have gotten, we are excited to bring to you what we call the STE Nexus community. Now, there's still a lot of conversation to happen in this space, but we want you to stay connected to what's all the things, not whatever we are doing, all the nice things that we are doing at ProAlly. This is happening because our student community is growing, but we want to be able to create exclusive content for them so that on all of our other channels, we can focus on our mid-level young professionals and our seniors level professional as we go along. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's ProAlly. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you, and we look forward to your continued participation, support, and collaboration. So now let's go back to personal branding. A lot of questions already on this channel, and I'm going to be bringing back on stage our speakers, Dr. Glory and Eze. You're back on stage now, and now the audience have asked you many questions. I'm going to pick and just post to you. Please feel free to answer. The first question is from Olaito Kobo, who says, and this is for you, Dr. Glory. I guess you can also read it as well. If I show it, I'll be blocking out Eze, so I'll read. She says, I'm into events planning and I love to cook. I used to have an events company before I started my geoscience career. I do all of this with ease, but sometimes difficult to just tell people all I do. I go with the easiest one, which is the geoscience. How do I create a personal brand that combines all this into one? Sounds familiar, yeah? Good. Over to you, Dr. Glory.
Fantastic. First of all, I just want to say, I think ProAlly is doing an amazing job. Well done on documenting all your strides so far. It's very easy for you to do great work and not document it. But I think this is branding, documentation, and visibility in motion. So well done on the amazing work and well done on documenting. So that's a great question. A lot of people do many things beyond their professional 9 to 5. So I know this will be a question that resonates with a lot of people. So the first thing I would say is that the world has gotten used to people being more than one thing. So a lot of times people are very confused. Oh, what I do is very different from, I'm in geoscience, but I'm also a fashion designer and all of that. And I really want to be able to express these different sides of me openly, right? As opposed to hiding some. So the first thing I would say is, one, the world is now getting used to, not completely, not all areas, but most of the world is getting used to people being more than one thing. There's a woman on LinkedIn that I follow. She is a leader in the FMCG space. She's a poet. She also, I think she's also training in the police academy. And she shares about these 3 things. And it's amazing, right? And she's not a young person. Like, do you understand? She's, of reasonable age. So that's the first thing I would say to you. The second bit to answer that question, I would say is, again, is going back to what do I want to be known for? Do you want to be known as a geoscientist who enjoys cooking, or do you want to still offer cooking as a service, right? So once you understand that, and that's the whole part of clarity and your goals. Okay, so maybe I'm a geoscientist, but I also want to make extra money as this, right? It's about asking yourself, what is my goal, right? Do I just want to put my cooking as a hobby? And then you can share about it. I'm a geoscientist who has worked in XYZ for how many years. This is, this is what I do. My hobbies are I enjoy cooking and planning events. And whatever social media platform you choose, you can share about these things once in a while. However, that strategy is very different if you say, okay, I also want to be earning from this. The first thing I always advise people who have multiple aspects of their brand is to find out, is there any conflict of interest with my organization? What will it look like in my organization if I'm a geoscientist, but I'm also an event planner? How is this going to affect or stall my career growth in any way? For some organizations, there are no issues as long as you declare it. For some organizations, there are no issues, but there are issues. if that makes any sense to you, right? There are no issues, but internally there will be issues. So you have to understand, first of all, what is the lay of the land that I'm operating with, and what can I actually communicate? Now, in a situation where there are no issues, then you can go ahead and share content around that. But also make sure, if you want to be known as a geoscientist, that you are also sharing about that. So if you're doing two, what I would say is create a percentage formula. If you're saying, okay, my goal is in the next 2 years, I want to get a promotion at work, blah, 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 but I want to also have a side business that is also bringing me money, you can have a 70-30% formula, where 70% of the time on social media, you're sharing about the work you're doing, and 30% of the time, you're talking about the food that you cook, the events you manage, and the like. But make sure you are clear about your goals and you are clear about the organizational perception of what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. They are very intelligent people. So I don't recap. We don't recap, as a matter of fact. Right. So this next question is for you, Eze. It says, how can, so Chibueze is asking you, your Eze is not Chibueze, is it?
No. Mine is just
okay, so Chibueze is asking
mine.
you this one. He says, how can one build a strong network on LinkedIn and any other social media app? And how can one be properly guided not to delve into anything ulterior? Can you relate the benefits of having good visibility online and how to go about it?
Oh, okay. So thank you for that question. So I'll pick up from where Dr. Gloria has also said, right? So it's important that you have clarity. But first of all, you also need to take care of your, so now if you don't have clarity, and then you see online, before you even start, it's like before you start cooking, you need to get the ingredients, right? So what are the ingredients, for online? You clearly define how you want to be seen online. What do you want to put online? Do you want to share your experience? Do you just want to tailor it to do you have so many things that you want to do, you want to be known for, but what do I really want to be known for? So it's important that you have clarity, right? Know what you want to be known for online, and then optimize your profile for for what you want to be known for. So I know it says, how can I build a strong network online? So, but before you build a strong network online, you also need to build a strong personality yourself, right? So because what I realized is, there's a popular saying that people are moved towards results and not just potential. So it's important that whatever you do, build yourself, become somebody of value, connect to people, and then you are now able to attract value. So because I'll share with you a practical example, right? So this is like a lesson in networking. And then when you want to build either social media, whatever it is that you're building. Some years ago, 2017, I think it was the first social media week Lagos. I was rushed. Quite a number of young people were rushing to get the business card of Dr. Obin Parody, Kenan Parody, the founder of Film One. And then he just said to us, guys, stop. So I get every time I go for meetings, everybody wants to say, oh, what my card, what can I say? There's something you can do. So, but what can you do for me? Right? So it's important that become somebody of value. So in the digital world, networking world, even also in life, you realize that people want to move with people who they perceive to be doing well and succeeding. So for you to attract people of value to your network, you also need to become valuable. And before you become that, you need to get clarity. What do I want to be known for online? Does this align with, who I am as a person? You cannot say, for example, now, the people, am I being deceived? So it's important that you ask this question. That's why I always tell people to ask those questions, right? You might not have a talent in music, but your family members are pushing you that, oh, you sing great, but the truth is they know that you don't know how to sing. So, but it's important that you ask this honest question so that you don't start doing things that you're not good at, and then people don't tell you, and then say, oh, as a family member, we just support you. So, and online is important. Please, I've been in this space for a while. There were years that when I reach out to people, I reach out to CEOs, MDs, nobody responds to me. But today, because I've built value with my profile, they come check and then they respond. Oh, sorry, I missed your message. But it's because of the value that they see that I have to offer also, not because I want to take from them. So become somebody of value, and then you'll be able to attract more value. Thank you.
Amazing. Nice. Thank you. Become somebody of value. Dr. Glory used to say, do you want to be known as the person who will say, happy birthday, happy new month, happy new year, as a strategy? Like happy inspirational speeches is not a strategy.
Exactly.
Wishing us how Monday is going. Have a blessed week is not a strategy. The strategy is to build a personal brand. It's thought leadership. There's something called content strategy. We are not talking that today. That's why I say that these are like different layers to all the several things that you have to do to become. But thanks for sharing. So share value. Dr. Gloria, another question for you. So this is Tola Shogweson. She says, I'm just starting out in the energy space after about a decade of work experience in food service consulting. How do I start to create a personal brand around my new role discipline? You're muted.
Thank you. So I said, thanks, Adesola. I think that's an excellent question, and congratulations on your transition. So the first thing I would say with that is, let's assume you've done all the clarity work, you have your goals and everything, right? So that we can actually get to the practical aspect of your question. I think the first thing you should do once you are clear and all of that is start creating content. The very first content I actually think you should create is about your transition. What have you learned about your transition? Right? So something around, so maybe create content around how I transitioned from the food service consulting into the energy space, 5 lessons I learned, right? Or you can start talking about how your experience in food consulting actually is helping you in the energy sector, energy space. So I think that's the first thing. Document that transition. It will be an interesting read. It also shows that you are not abandoning, your 10 years, but you're carrying those transferable skills into your new role. Now, to then continue to build that brand, you become known for what you share. And this is the mistake a lot of people make on LinkedIn. Like, I feel like many times people on LinkedIn make the mistake. They just say, oh, they said we should share content on LinkedIn. And, people now have these, and this is no shade to anybody, they have these 10 days of post, 30 days of posting, and you're just posting multiple things and your friends are liking it, but nobody knows you for anything, right? So it's really very important that you say, okay, what do I want to be known for? So you've transitioned into the energy sector. What exactly in the energy sector do I want to be known for? So let's use, for example, maybe you've transitioned into your in governance, for example, right? What are the problems you are solving day to day in that space, right? Maybe you are dealing with boards or you are dealing with leaders. What are the questions that you are being asked every day? Create content around those things. And then you start to build a brand as a professional in that area. So that would be my short answer to that. Okay, I think you are muted now because I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I was. Thank you. I'll say now. We have lots of questions. I want us to really, as much as possible. Well, thank you. What transitioning is an exciting experience. Like, it's a really beautiful journey. It's the journey that most people learn from. Yeah. So, Tola, keep that in mind. There's a question for you, Eze, from Damilola Adeshola. She says, where does the journey of personal branding begin from? And is there a time too late to begin this journey?
Okay, so see, the truth is, I think like personal branding, it starts from, I think personal branding starts from the time when, you now start, you understand the actions that you take, and then you understand the repercussions, right? So, because when we speak about personal brand, because personal brand literally is about relationship, right? It's about your reputation, actually, right? And then how you are perceived. So, it's not just, I know we've been speaking so much about online, LinkedIn, this, but it goes beyond that. Within your neighborhood, in your house, within your church, are you considered? How do people perceive you? Are you a good person? Can you be recommended? Can you be trusted with authority? So it's, it starts from, from your home, from your office, it's not just online, right? And I always tell people that it's important that you align. Don't be a very nice person online, but be a terrible person offline. Because the people who know you offline would, one way or the other, at some time, come and negate those things that you're building on. So it's important that you have there's a match between who you are online, and then, so how do people consider, you're a great speaker, people see you online, but in your neighborhood you are seen as, because, and it happens today where you see people, they built a facade around one huge reputation on LinkedIn, but truthfully they are just, more like the faking it to making it. But that's not a good way to go, right? Because in the long run, there's literally no benefit there. So please, I'd ask you, personal branding, simply is about reputation. So what is your reputation? And your reputation would influence either from your office, even before it goes online. People will speak to you. A lot of my colleagues that I have not spoken to them online, but they've been recommending me for opportunities because of the relationship that we've had, working experience that we've had in the past, and because of my relationship with them. I've built a relationship of being a good person, a trustworthy colleague, a great friend, So, and a lot of us also hold responsibilities either at home, offices, or church. So it's important that you know that, personal branding is not just an online thing. It also goes to, from how you are perceived at home, in office, in church, and making sure that it aligns with whatever you're building online also too. So thank you. I hope that answers.
It's the question you asked at the beginning. Who do men say you are?
Exactly.
Who do men say you are? So it's not who do men say you are on LinkedIn. It is
exactly
who do men say you are. And also as to when to start. Dr. Gloria, I will add a question to that and then you can layer. Debbie, joining from Chatham, is asking, how does visibility at work relate to personal branding?
Okay, so I think if I layer with the initial question that was asked to Eze, I think personal branding starts from the moment it starts before you even know, right? Because if we're looking at Eze's definition, for example, right, it's about your reputation. So you are creating a reputation without you even knowing it. So I would say as whenever a person wakes up is their morning. So as soon as you are aware, that's when it has already started. So you have the opportunity to curate that perception. So I would say if you're starting out in your career, start to think about what do I want to be known for as early as possible. It will shock you how many professionals are 20 years in and they haven't answered that question. So the second question too, so if you can just repeat that again, was visibility and personal branding. What does visibility have to do with personal branding? Is that what you said?
Yes, how does visibility at work relate to personal branding?
Oh, I think essentially visibility and personal branding are twin sisters, right? So with personal branding, it's a strategic process of being known for something. Visibility is the same. It is a strategic process of being known and being seen by the right people, right? So at work, it's very important to be visible. So what are some of the strategies you can use to build visibility? They are the same. When you're using those visibility strategies, you are actually building a brand, right? Because you're becoming known for something. So I'll give you an example. I remember one time I had an event and this lady came to speak and she shared a visibility tip. She said it's usually very difficult to communicate with leaders because they are moving really fast, and sometimes, you can't communicate with them directly because of tensions in the office. People are like, why are you going to meet your boss's boss, right? But sometimes you will meet them in the hallway. They'll pop into the, to your desk or whatever, and you can have conversations. So what she used to do was this. Anytime they come, people would just say, oh, I'm fine and everything. She would say, oh, I'm fine. This is what I'm working on. Right? So this is again a visibility and personal branding strategy where you understand the work you are doing, you understand how to communicate it with power because you understand the business results from your work, so that when you are speaking to leaders, coincidentally, accidentally, or on purpose, you are able to share about the work that you are doing. Now that's a visibility strategy which leads to you building a brand, right? I hope that makes sense. So when you are speaking up in the office, when you are speaking up at work, you are being visible and you're building a brand as somebody who is, knowledgeable about this specific area. So every time I see your face, I quickly start speaking so that I can answer the question.
No, the intent is not to.
I know.
It's actually to hurry you up, because I also want for the benefit of democratizing to ensure that we have everyone's question taken. We have a new one. It says, I am currently not, and this is interesting, I'm currently not in my desired career line, but I'm still in STEM. How do I make myself visible online? So I'm hearing this question like visibility is like until I'm in what I'm doing. I don't know. You know better than I am in this, that I do in this case, but you're not in your desired career, but you still want to be visible. How do you marry that together?
Okay. Well, that's it. Eze or to me?
Yeah, Eze can take it and then you can layer. Eze.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll not dwell so much on that, but I'll just use a quote, right? Start where you are with what you have, and make the best use of it, right? So you see the thing with excellence, it's either you have it or you don't have it, right? So how are you able to communicate excellence in what you currently do? So it is easy for people to trust you when you can say, oh, that you have results to show, excelling in what you were doing before transitioning. So it means that you're bringing excellence into like the next phase that you're entering. So if you already have excellence, if I see somebody who says, oh, I'm delving into engineering now, but I used to be in maybe one of that field, but I've been able to build a reputation there, achieve results, and even became one of like the top 10 within my space. I'm going to trust you even if I haven't seen the results in your new phase, because you've shown excellence in your previous. So it doesn't matter whether you're moving to a new field, but success has strategies and principles. If you're unable to manage, maybe it's because you were unable to manage down properly, or because it was a bit tough, think, okay, maybe going into this one is a bit easier. If you're unable to, put in the work, discipline, and achieve the right success there, it will be impossible to achieve that in your next phase. But it's easy when you already have methods of achieving success. It's easy to replicate in your next phase. And then regardless of how you're transitioning, if you've shown me that you can put your hands on anything and achieve the best results, I'm going to trust you in your next level. So, and then how do you do that? Just like we said, documenting, you see, is important, right? You need to document your progress, your successes, because they will contribute to your larger story, regardless of the field that you're coming from into your new field. But your story is, people want to know, okay, where are you coming from? What results did you even achieve in your previous, what was the business? What did you do differently and things like that? So I hope that answers that. So I'll leave that to Dr. Glory now to, wrap that up.
No, I completely agree with Eze's point. You have to definitely show some level of expertise where you are, excellence, because and I think the key word that he said there was to create the perception of credibility and build trust for the next opportunity. I'll tell a quick story just to lay on that. In my 9 to 5, I used to work for an environmental management company, but I really wanted to be in climate change. And I looked around, and even no matter how hard I worked in that particular role, it was never going to take me to the climate change consulting that I wanted to do. So what did I start doing? I started building networks of people who were in the climate change international space, right? Both locally and internationally. I would go for events. Sometimes I would have to introduce myself to people over and over again, right? But I didn't mind. I would continue doing that. And then I would tell them what I did. So, for example, I would say something like, oh, I'm currently working in an environmental management company, but my experience really is around the last 5 years, really working on international climate change policy and environmental management policy. And now I'm looking to bring that international experience to work on national level policy. So can you see, this is not a conversation. What I communicated there, there's no word that says I'm looking for a job. Nothing. Everything there I'm communicating is I'm communicating with power what I do and why I'm ready for that next level. And I tell you, I got to consult on 3 international climate change projects because of that strategy. So you can bring that strategy online by connecting to the right people, also having an offline strategy where you are networking correctly, and also communicating what you do and how you are ready for the next level through content and through conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. The time is fast spent. I appreciate it. It's really about value, articulating the ABC, the asking what is your why, where do you start from, how do you communicate it, building strategic value. I'd like to give you 2 minutes each to wrap up, your final thoughts. We still have questions, but I believe I can push them to you so you look at them. Your final thoughts, what would you be? I like to ask it this way. If they should take anything away from this conversation, the top 3 things, what would it be for you, for the audience here today?
I'll say men first.
Go first and then
Yes.
Oh, okay. So for me, like the top 3 things I'll just tell you to do is so the first one is you need to be intentional about your digital presence online. Whatever does not add value to you or does not, benefit the desired reputation, do not put it online. Be intentional. Know that people see what you do. They might not like, but people see what you do. And then whatever you say online stays online, except you delete. But before you even delete, some people might have saved it. So it's important to be intentional about what you put out online. 2, don't wait till you are an expert or you become like the best at what you do. Show the world your passion. Put it out there. It might be rough, or if you want to become an expert at writing, you want to become a writer. If you have 2 writers, the person who starts in January and then by December, the other person who says he wants to refine and then starts in December, the person who starts in January already has 11 months experience in writing because they've been posting constantly and then they have something to show. So put something out there. It helps you. Lastly, I would say be intentional about who you want to network with. Not everybody, you can't network with everybody, you can't be friends with everybody. So be intentional about who you network with. Find people who align with your values and your goals, and then you'll be able to get the right results. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So that really resonated with me. I would answer this with 3 things I wish somebody had told me early in my career. And I think the first one is I'm worthy of being seen. A lot of times, and we didn't really get to touch on that so much, but a lot of times the reasons why we're not building visibility or personal brands is that we count ourselves out. So the first thing I would say is I'm worthy of being seen. The second thing I would say is people need what I have. I think many times, and this relates to something Eze says, a lot of times we're waiting to be perfect. But perfection is a dream, right? It's a dream, right? No matter what level you are at now, if you are able to communicate what you do in a way that solves a problem, people need what you have. People need to know what you know. It might not be a Dangote, but somebody needs the knowledge you have. And that is important. So don't discount yourself. And I think the third thing I would say is enjoy the process. Many times we are so focused on the results. Oh, I posted 2 articles, only 3 likes. Oh, and they have not called me yet for international job. Oh, this personal branding is not working. It is not about the high moments of your life. It's about the process. The moments are so fleeting. It is always about the process. So enjoy the process.
Can we please This is where we stand up in the hall and just, ventilate or jump. Can we please, honor our speakers with a clap, a like, a love, and use it to say thank you. If this has been very insightful to you, please drop it on the comments and say thank you. Thank you. Add their names there. I just really appreciate it. On behalf of Pro Ally, I want to say a huge thank you. I do not take the access I have to you and the relationship I share for granted in any way, but thank you for being a part of this journey. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Our vision is really to democratize knowledge, democratize opportunities, and socialize this, what they call the complex sector. Like, science is not complex, it's not deep like that. Afrobeat is deeper, It's making is deeper. Science is really more like a question of fact and figures. You kind of know it, so it's not deep. And this is what we're trying to do at Pro Ally, simplifying science communication. If you solve so much problem in the world, then we want to ensure that our professionals are able to articulate it and position better. Thank you, Dr. Glory. Thank you, Eze. I really do appreciate it. It's been a wild time here. Listening, learning, and all the nice things that have happened in this progress. Thank you. The comment is buzzing. Everyone is excited. Thank you. 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 So, I'll move you a bit back and then just close today by sharing with you some new updates as to what is happening at Pro Ally. We will be starting, like I introduced earlier, our students community. It's an exclusive group, it's a cohort, it's focused at empowering students that are studying science, technology, energy, and related courses in all universities. You don't have to be a Nigerian, you don't have to be an African, everywhere, but our core focus, our starting point is Nigerian universities. So start getting yourself and your friends ready. Start getting your junior ones, your junior brother, your mentees, start getting them ready. It's going to be a focused teaching of empowering them with soft skills, empowering them to help us build science, STEM, energy professionals who can fit into the world of today. We live in a world of pop culture. We don't live in Isaac Newton's age. So we need to prepare our our students and our young minds to be able to fit in and appreciate what they are doing here. The May edition is going to happen and is going to target a topic that you have been talking about: transitions, transitions, transitions. How do I go from A to B to E to D? You have one life to live. You can live it over and over and over again, doing what you like at the different phases of your life. Don't forget, it's Pro Ally. Our vision is to democratize energy science opportunities, and it's a pleasure to be a part of you. Please do us this favor. Fill our feedback survey and let us know how this has benefited you. Thank you, because we honor your time. It's right on the clock. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Emmanuel.
My name is Akulabi Israel.
I'm Adechumobi Peace.
My name is Oladipo Moluwa.
My name is Ohale Uchichukwu.
I was at a major crossroad in my career life, just completing undergraduate studies and stepping into the market world.
The connection has really been helpful, it has been insightful, it has given me a knowledge about how to navigate a successful path in the industry and even in my academics.
I highlight the knowledge and skills I have gained, as well as the personal growth I have experienced.
So it's indeed an opportunity for someone like me to have a one-on-one connection.
I got more enlightened. I got more relief, and I got more clarity.
The journey has been quite a nice one. It's been good he had listened to my personal goals and what I want to achieve, and he shared his own experiences with me.
In a world where energy powers progress, our company is leading the conversation and engagement towards that brighter future. Welcome to Pro Ally, a communication and stakeholder management company for the energy, STEM, and related sector.
With us, conscientiousness, exceptionalism, and positivity are not just words, but the very core of our existence and dedication to making a difference in the energy industry. From managing diverse industry events, simplifying complex communication, positioning brands and people, to helping organizations deliver practical sustainability initiatives,
we believe that accurate and transparent communication is the key to success in the energy sector. Conscientiousness is at the heart of everything we do. We are more than a business. We are professional experts. We are your ally.
we are meticulous in our approach, ensuring that the information we convey is not only reliable but also easy to understand. Our services are born to solve these sectorial pain points, tapping into our depths of wisdom, knowledge and understanding, network and proven expertise. At Pro Ally, we don't settle for ordinary. Exceptionalism is our standard.
Our team is made up of experts who constantly strive for excellence, providing our clients with nothing but the best. But it's not just about what we can do, it's about the positive impact we will create. We believe that a positive outlook is crucial in driving change. Our mission: to champion progressive causes and amplify positive impact. We bridge the gap between complex scientific information and accessible communication.
We work tirelessly to ensure that our clients and stakeholders understand and appreciate the significance of their initiatives. At Pro Ally, we are not just a company, we are a movement. A movement driven by conscientiousness, guided by exceptionalism, and fueled by positivity.
Join us on our journey to simplify science communication, amplify positive impacts, and champion progressive causes in the energy industry. Whether you are an organization, stakeholder, brand, partner, or professional in energy and STEM, then welcome to Pro Ally. There is a place for you in our journey. We are Pro Ally, your professional ally, your positive ally.
Visit our website to be a positive part of the energy and STEM revolution at www.proallyworld.com or send us an email at proally.org@gmail.com or info@proallyworld.org. Pro Ally, championing progressive causes, amplifying positive impact.